Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Come on!
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. Today is Sleeping Saturday. It's Q&A day. This is the day we receive questions from our audience, from our others, from our Zoomers. They write into Miss Mara. Miss Mara compiles them. We go through them, and then we try our best to give an answer. And it's the day that me and Mara are getting ready, and Catherine A. and Bobby Marchand, and we're getting ready to head out of here, head for India.
All right.
So no show tomorrow or the next day.
Last time I saw you guys in person was October 15th in the Delhi airport.
Yeah, we were on our way to India again. We get a lot of, I'm so happy. We've designed our lives to be in India a lot because you and I get a lot of nourishment from there.
Well, you know, and I was just telling you before the show, some couple weeks back, I mentioned the idea of us having some kind of our own little ashram here in Mayapur, and I mentioned on the show, and some people from here heard it, and they're like, "Yeah, we got to make this happen. Let's help you guys get into this." You
know what? I think we just got to dream.
Got a dream.
A dream, not without personal motive. Dream what could be the best service to render, and Krishna will just reciprocate. You know what I mean? I believe in the power of intention, and you can make your own. The universe wants you to be abundant.
Materialize it.
It might be. The universe might want you to be abundant, but I think the magic is real with bhakti. Krishna, how would you like me to serve? This is how I think it would be good. This is how I think I can contribute. But we ultimately trust your divine influence.
Acceptance.
So I think if we really dream big in a way that's going to benefit the listeners the best, and we know there is a lot of benefit. I got a beautiful message from, who was that from? Oh, you know who it was from? Is it AJ Sullivan? AJ Sullivan. And he was sitting at a temple in Baltimore, and he just said, I'm just sitting around here at the temple. I'm looking, all these people listen to Delaware, sorry. And he says, all these people are from Wisdom of the Sages. I know them from Wisdom of the Sages. And I was thinking, we didn't have that. We didn't have a way to check in on a regular basis unless you got out of your apartment, went on the subway, and went to the ashram.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes due to situations, I can't do it today. But, this is the beauty of the information age, is you can let transcendental information out. The ugliness of the information age, you can suck away your life scrolling through animal attack videos, get caught up in some late night rabbit holes on YouTube. The beauty of it too, and that way you can hear the Bhagavatam. And we had teachers in our life that literally, maybe figuratively and literally, held our hands in our infant stages of bhakti and trying to develop an attachment for spirit and a detachment from things that were bringing us down. And the podcast can serve like that for so many people, because I'm seeing every day just on Zoom alone. But then you're meeting people also in Mayapur, like they listen every day. and it becomes some type of banister to hold on to as you're
Yeah.
climbing up steep steps of the material realm. Like
Well,
that
it's
analogy.
great because it went through my head. I said, I went through my mind different people in Mayapur that I know that are kind of well established here, but that listen to us and really understand what we're doing.
Mhm.
So if we would like to do something here, then perhaps those people can kind of help us take the steps that we need to take here, if we wanted to make something like that happen. So we have some support. And they started coming forward today. That was a nice thing. It was a birthday party of one of these wonderful devotees, and he hosted everyone at his house. It was a beautiful thing. And when we take our little pilgrimage here in
Yeah.
February, so we'll go to their home. It's a beautiful
nice.
home, and Italian devotee, with one of those wood ovens, wood burning pizza ovens, and just pumping out quality, really nice quality pizza. And but beyond that, Raghunath, what I really loved was just, it was a beautiful family. It was like those devotees that invited us over, and then their children, and then their grandchildren.
Love it.
They got a little 6 month little grandchild, little boy, sweetest thing ever seen. And it was just a very beautiful, loving family with Krishna in the middle of it and Seva in the middle of it. And so I wanted to bring everyone over. I said, it's a little forward for me to ask, but would you mind if we brought 15 people over here and you made pizza for us?
I know this might sound awkward, but I'm going to invite myself over to your living room. I know you have children and grandchildren, but we're going to be bold enough to ask anyway. I think it's great, but because we know a lot of people in India, it gives us opportunity on these pilgrimages to be a little bit more intimate with regular people who are like dedicated to the cause of spiritual evolution. So I think that's going to be a highlight. Excited for our little Mayapur trip.
Let's see where this goes, Raghunath. Let's see where this goes. But I like what you say. We try to envision something that'd be nice service. We put it out into the atmosphere,
universe.
Put it out into the universe, and see what happens, and be detached.
Yeah. It's amazing how this.
You're ready to talk now.
Huh?
You're ready to talk now. You're in your element now. Yeah, okay.
Let's just talk. Yeah.
Henry
says multi-generational devotee families build faith. Yeah.
Oh,
Just like multi. What a lot of people came to. We had a little get together, and some of our local devotees and Lori Pag and Jamie Stepp came by the other day at Christmas. And Jamie Stepp said something very sweet. He said, "You know what? This is like a real Christmas for me." You know what I mean? It's like you come together with the devotees, and we're seeing something bigger than just our family. We're seeing a bigger family. We're seeing a bigger family who are connected to spirit, and it puts things in perspective. And it's like we're reading the Bhagavatam of the son of Chitraketu saying, "Are you my father? I've had millions of fathers." We do have a family in this world. There's a real blood relationship, but then there's a spiritual family, right? That we also are connected with in a big way. And sometimes we can go very, very deep, very, very quick with a spiritual family, maybe that we could never go to with our blood birth family. Is that the blood birth or our blood family?
blood birth.
Our bloody family.
By the way, speaking of Wisdom of the Sages family,
yeah,
I reached out to someone and I got some latest information on Dr. Louis.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you did? Because I reached out, I got nothing.
I reached out and I got something.
What do you got?
So for those that don't know, Dr. Louis, Louis Rivera, he's someone that Raghunath and I know since I've known him since I was 15 years old. But he was one of these happening guys on the hardcore scene back in the day, and one of the early people that was into bhakti in that hardcore scene. And from the beginning of Wisdom of the Sages, even before it was Wisdom of the Sages, he was checking in every morning. He's commonly coming on in the morning as a Zoomer. And God, it's been months now that he was. We still don't know the whole story, but
sounds like he was mugged or something.
He was attacked and put into a coma. So for months he was there in a coma and but it sounds like he's coming out of the coma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is what I
Oh
got.
my gosh. You gonna read
Um,
some?
yeah, I just want to make sure I don't read anything I shouldn't read. Um, he has a primary doctor, pulmonary specialist, a case manager assigned him, neurologist has not been assigned yet. Labs were ordered this morning. It's just talking about some details, but I want to get to the important details. Let's see. Neurological assessments occur once a day. However, they do sporadic checks. His alertness waxes and wanes.
Mm.
This morning, he stuck out his tongue on command.
Huh. Okay.
A few hours did not respond to anything. This afternoon, he did again stick out his tongue on command. He acknowledged his sister on her visit. He followed her and his mother around the room with his eyes. He sticks out his tongue. He raises his eyebrows. He is fighting. That's what they said. He is fighting.
Okay.
There are no signs of infection, and the doctors are making plans to remove the tracheotomy,
Yeah.
tracheotomy,
The thing in the
and
trachea.
the feeding tube soon. So I assume that means he can eat, when that happens on his own.
That's beautiful.
So he's responding. It sounds like assumed that must mean he's out of the coma.
Again, he's a longtime listener of the podcast, pre-podcast, Super Soul Sacred Sangha. He was there every day. And he was, foundational, one of those like inspirational people in the beginning of me and Kastuba's Bhakti journey. So he's got a special place in our heart as well.
I think Kelly Becker was saying, I think it was Kelly saying that she might visit him when that would be available. So maybe we can make that happen.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Otherwise, when we get back, we should visit him.
Yeah. Thank you for that 411 there, Kastuba.
Sure.
All right. So it's Q&A day. Any announcements, Miss Mara?
Yeah, we have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings. We have a beginners meeting at 9:30 a.m. Meeting at 11. That's a Japa Sadhu Sangha. It's a non-recovery meeting. And at 12:30, also a adult children of alcoholics meeting. And then no show tomorrow or Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday.
Okay, 2 days off. What time will we be back on Tuesday? Do we know?
No.
No. Meryl, get that info out.
I'll say 6 a.m. unless 6 a.m. Eastern time, unless otherwise.
Unless
announced.
otherwise noted.
That's going to be, who knows?
What'd you say, Kastuba?
Unless otherwise noted.
Right. Yeah. But we'll shoot for 6 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
That's beautiful. The Bhakti Recovery Group is so good. Every now and then I see somebody on Instagram saying in a little proud way, you know what? I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but I got over my alcohol drinking without a 12-step program. And part of me says, like, good for you. And part of me says, you missed the whole point of it. The beauty of it is they're actually getting God. They're not just replacing, okay, now I'm off alcohol. Now I can enjoy the material world again. They're actually getting something much greater than just being, quote, sober. Who cares? A chicken's sober. A beaver is sober. A beaver is not getting drunk and going out on an all-night bender.
It depends what kind of tree they're gnawing on, but yeah, for the most part.
Oh, Krishna Kastuba. I said goodbye to Tarun last night, my son.
Oh.
It was tricky. It was tricky, tough. Krishna's got some plan. Krishna's got some plan.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's get into it. Other people have questions that need to be answered, Raghunath.
Okay. This is from Anonymous via email. Came in just the other day.
Okay.
I am one
Sometimes
of the
anonymous ones are the best ones, Raghunath.
Oh, are you kidding? They're the fire. They're the juiciest ones. There's a reason they're anonymous. I am one of the others who is immensely grateful for cheer and hope you three bring to my life every single day. Aw, come on. I have a question about authenticity. I often hear about authenticity and how Bhakti practice is going to bring out the best in us, our authentic self. But as I am going through my life, I am troubled each day by this quest for authenticity. I feel that the practice of bhakti has made me become more aware, or, if I may say, become more troubled, perturbed by this quest. I'm a wife, a mother, and sort of a facilitator for an education firm. While juggling through these roles and others, such as being a friend, daughter, etc., I find myself trying very hard to be my real self. For example, I want to show genuine love to my husband and be very authentic in a relationship, as I understand that it is not just limited to physical or an emotional bond. However, there are times when I am doing something or being with him and other friends just to please him or to please them. Considering that it is my duty to serve my husband that way, and eventually this will lead us both to Krishna, I tend to hide my own self. Well, if you asked, but does it feel authentic? Not at all. I suffer from not being authentic to my own self or to my husband in such situations. Hence, my question is, am I faking when I'm trying to serve? Am I not faking when I'm trying to serve my husband
am I not? Yeah, am I not fake?
or love him that way? Or can I be authentic to myself and yet be genuine to others? I must mention here that my husband is a nice man and has been increasingly appreciative of the bhakti practice. Oh, okay, I get it. He's not into bhakti, but
He's nice about it.
he's nice about it. This encourages me to be my best self to him and serve him, yet I often lose my sanity when battling between authentic to my own self and to the relationship. And the battle continues in other circles of life too. I hope I made my question clear. Please let me know your thoughts.
All right.
Very interesting.
Very, very interesting question.
You want to try to frame this out in regular English, what this person's going through?
Sure. I mean, she's saying she wants a spiritual life, a bhakti life, and she wants it to be authentic. So it seems like the path of bhakti demands a certain kind of honest, straightforward lifestyle. And it seems like her lifestyle demands that she sometimes acts like things are important that, according to the philosophy of bhakti, aren't so important. And when she's showing those other things importance, she's wondering if she's being inauthentic to that path that she's chosen, if I understand it correctly.
Yeah.
And I really like this question. That tension that our anonymous writer inner is writing about, that tension goes straight. It's not just like bhakti practitioners that are beginners go through that and then it's gone necessarily. It might be for some people, their entire life is the external circumstances completely align with the internal objective. But this tension that you're feeling, it rises up to the highest level of devotee, to the highest level. And the example that I'll give is Rupa and Sanatana Goswami.
Ooh, I like this. I like where you're going.
Okay.
You're
Because
good, Kostuba. You're a special soul. I'm just going to share that again.
Well, thank you.
I said that yesterday. That was my realization in the bathroom. I didn't have to
Kostuba.
say that part of it.
Does
I
it
was
have
in the
to
bathroom
come in the
thinking,
bathroom?
Kostuba's special. Kostuba is special. And I told you
You're very
yesterday
special
publicly.
too, Roman. You're
Yeah,
very
you are special. This is a great analogy. Go with it.
Okay. So, we're called Rupanugas, which means, like, in our lineage, we consider ourselves the followers of Rupa Goswami and certainly Sanatana Goswami, both. And there's a historical, record of, in their early life, they were born into what then, would be called like a Hindu family. But they were Brahminical families, and they were just like these rarely qualified people. Like, they just had it. Some people are just able to lead and so on. And
They spoke multiple languages. Their families were incredibly wealthy. They were like real gentlemen.
but and
Culture,
brilliant in
really
terms economically and so from for me to say exactly what their jobs are hard, but more or less they were running the economy of Bengal. It was something like that, under the Muslim government, directly under the Muslim, like in others, under the leader of the Muslim government. They were at the highest stages there of the government responsibility. And but so they're externally serving this Muslim tyrant, on one hand,
Right.
and having to, they even had Muslim names, and they had to kowtow, I suppose. Is that the right word?
Kowtow. Kowtow.
Yeah, they kowtow. Is that the word? Kowtow?
Kowtow.
Kowtow?
Kowtow, I think. Like the
Okay.
toe of a cow.
They had to play along externally.
Hmm.
And they knew if they didn't, that the government, it was kind of like, hey, take up this responsibility and run this government for us, or we can really make life very uncomfortable for all of your people. Right?
This was a time of severe oppression. And so
Yeah.
like the invaders would hand select a few people that, okay, these guys are very qualified. They're going to be working for us now.
Right.
So yeah. So
Okay.
they gave them,
So
they had very big positions within that government.
and at the same time, they were deep devotees of the deepest. I mean, for us, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they're gopis in Krishna's Leela in the spiritual
Not
world.
of this world. Not of this
Yeah,
world.
so this is just top, and they're manifest in this incarnation as these Bengali devotees. They were in that position, working in that government and feeling the inauthenticity, I suppose you could say, like that tension, that something like the tension that you're feeling. Do I have to live two lives? If only I could just live one life. And they were writing letters to Sri Chaitanya, expressing, in beautiful devotional language, how they wanted to meet him and serve him and so on. And Sri Chaitanya wrote back to them.
Imagine that. Imagine getting a letter from Lord Chaitanya.
I know.
Have the mail come today? Yeah, can you pick up the mail? Oh my God, Lord Chaitanya wrote. That'd be so cool. I got a package from Lord Chaitanya.
From God. Okay, so when they did meet up, they met in the town called Ramakeli in Bengal. And Sri Chaitanya said this to them, and it's there. I'll begin from verse 209 of this. I think it's the second chapter of the Madhya Lila. Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text 209, but text 211 is really the verse that I want to read about. He said, "You have written several letters showing your humility. I can understand your behavior from those letters. I can tell who you are by reading your letter," he's saying, By your letters, I could understand your heart. Therefore, in order to teach you, I sent you one verse which reads as follows. Now, dear anonymous questioner, here's this verse. Think about it. Meditate on it. He said, here's the verse. If a woman is attached to a man other than her husband, okay, it's a little racy here, right? I was trying to understand. try to understand the essence of what's being said here. If a woman is attached to a man other than her husband, she will appear very busy in carrying out her household affairs. Externally, she's not letting anybody know that her mind is anywhere else. Right? Okay, so she's not slack. She's not becoming, because she's internally absorbed in this other object of love. It doesn't mean she's becoming slack in her home duties. She's actually more together than ever before.
Yeah,
right?
she's not letting out any hint like
That's
something's
right.
going wrong. There's something else happening.
Her mind is focused elsewhere. So if a woman is attached to a man other than her husband, she will appear very busy in carrying out her household affairs, but within her heart, she is always relishing feelings of association with her paramour. Okay? So now, I believe what he was telling
That's it.
Rupa
The
and
verse ends
Sanatana,
there.
that's the end of the verse. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So I believe what he was telling them is, do your job in that government and do it really well.
Meticulously.
But internally, you're more absorbed than ever in your thoughts of Krishna, right? And so so let's go back to the question now. I'm not saying that I don't think your situation is exactly like that, but I think there's a common element to it, that there's something that you're experiencing internally that your husband doesn't really understand. And my point is that even when you're with him and being a good wife and even doing things that you aren't particularly interested in doing, these are the things that are making you feel, oh, I had to go bowling with my husband and his friends, right? Something like that, maybe.
Yeah,
Whatever. I don't know if it's bowling or whatever, right?
I get it.
But you did something that is in your heart. That's not exactly what you want to do. You would rather be reading Bhagavatam with your husband and his friends. You'd rather be in Kirtan with your husband and his friends. Then you would feel authentic. But what Sri Chaitanya is saying is it's not inauthentic. It's not even so much externally what's going on. What's important is what's going on inside. And what you do is you do those. You see, we each have these two different kind of selves: the functional self and the fundamental self, right? So your fundamental self is you're realizing it. I'm an eternally. I'm a servant, a loving servant of beautiful, sweet baby Krishna. That's who I am. That's my authentic self. But it's not inauthentic to play another role on the functional level. I'm also a wife to a husband. I have a job. I have all these different roles that I play externally, and I'm playing them in realms where my fundamental identity is not understood.
I mean, for
It doesn't make
for
it
a parent also, Prabhu, it's like
for a parent.
they're going to like soccer games or like PTA meetings or after school meetings
Sure.
or things that have nothing to do with the basics of hearing and chanting the holy name and kirtan, and it's like you feel like, how did I get caught in this mud trap?
Right. Yeah, and so here's the point. It's there's a very famous verse written by Rupa Goswami, right, that defines what he calls uttama bhakti, pure, the highest bhakti, right? And there it says that what is it? Anyavilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavritam. It means the motive behind jnana, which means I want to enjoy the things of this world, or the motive behind behind karma, which means I want to enjoy the things of this world, or the mode behind jnana, which means I want to escape the sufferings of this world. It means your bhakti, your devotion, is not covered by those desires. Okay? But in his commentary on that, Rupa Goswami explains that even Sri Chaitanya himself, the emblem of the deepest bhakti, he would sometimes do things socially to keep social peace. Like, for instance, when his father died, he went to Gaya to perform the rituals that a son would normally perform for the father.
Mm.
And from a pure bhakti perspective, those rituals aren't even necessary. But he did them to keep the social peace, right? To keep everything running smooth externally. And you may have to do that in so many ways. And by keeping things running smoothly externally, it means that you can focus on your bhakti when the time is available. And if things were unsmooth socially, it would be harder to do that. You know, if you were callous to your husband and uncaring about his circumstances and his, quote unquote needs, you might feel like I'm more authentically practicing bhakti, but your whole bhakti world would become disturbed because your marriage would become disturbed. But what you're doing is you're doing what you need to do to keep things stable in life, and that's serving your bhakti. And in that sense, it's entirely authentic. It's not you're doing what's best for your bhakti. And again, and internal, you can always be in a place, in a very deep place, in a very
Yeah.
deep place internally, even when the external situation, as a matter of fact, it can even increase the intensity of that internal experience. So yeah, I
I
don't
like
think what
I
you're doing is
your
inauthentic.
I love your answer, Prabhu.
I would love to hear more from you, Raghunath.
I'm not going to go into any that much more because I think you really nailed. I think you really nailed it.
Okay.
The only thing I can say is sometimes in the midst of, going through the motions of material existence, you become completely hijacked by material existence. So,
Well, sure.
and therefore
Okay.
your meditation isn't secretly on Krishna,
Right.
like a lover's, like a like a secret lover. You actually become completely hijacked, and your life and your senses and your mind and your intelligence get taken over by that Maya. And then by Krishna's mercy, you get reclaimed, hopefully. So trudge through the mud, but don't forget the goal, or else
you
our whole life has been really wasted.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay
And the next
connected.
question.
Stay connected with the devotees. Here every day. Here's the deal. Here every day. Even if some people just they can't chant their japa anymore due to their situation. Here every day.
Every day.
Every day. Bhagavatam. Every day. Remember to like, share, comment. Boom.
Every day.
Bhagavatam. Every day. Comment every day.
All right.
All right.
Now the next question is kind of similar.
Okay. Let's see. This is from Aaron. Hey, Aaron. How are you? Via email. Hi again. Because we she asked a question last week. Thanks for your answer to my last question. Now she's on a roll. She's gonna see. She's trying to go for the record. How many questions can get answered? We got some people way ahead of you. Harshal Gore, of course. He's like the number one. Okay. Thanks for your answer to the last question. I have had something else come up that I'm hoping for some clarification on. I work in a very specialized retail business, and the more I embrace the teachings of Bhakti, the more almost angry I am with the consumer mindset. Makes sense.
The consumer
Most of our
mindset.
customers are very understanding and pleasant. However, I had one this week that got so angry over a pair of cowboy boots. Yeah, I understand that.
Good. Some people take cowboy boots very seriously.
Yeah, it's like cowboy boots. To those who are into cowboy boots, that is sort of and like the hat and the boot. That's everything.
The belt
Now,
buckle
Europeans may not get this because cowboy boots are sort of an American thing.
What about the belt buckle?
Belt buckles, sure, that goes with it too. Okay. Most of our customers very understanding. Cowboy boots pre-Bhaktin Aaron, like before she got into Bhakti, she would have been panicked and trying everything to make the customer happy. But the new Aaron is like, it's a pair of boots, lady. They literally do not matter. I wonder if she said that out loud. So, on one hand, very good at helping control my anxiety. I am all for that. Is this kind of like the stages of grief and things that will ebb and flow as I learn more? I do enjoy my job, just figuring out how it fits into this practice, so I can be content and still content and still provide for my household. Okay. So that's your question, basically. She's in it. She's in it. She's in the midst of it. She's dealing with the mundane. Previously, the mundane could seem like, I have an awesome job. As you get into Bhakti, you realize, oh, I get it. None of these things are actually going to satisfy me or the customers. And why am I working so hard to sell people things that won't actually satisfy them? Can I take a stab at this, sir?
Yeah, please go for it.
There comes a time, I feel like, in Bhakti, as you get into it, where you do go about these duties in life. And we do them. And like what Kostuba said, like the secret lover, you have the secret lover and you're just showing up in all the same ways. You think you're not affecting anybody. You are tremendously. You don't even realize it. You're affecting everybody in your universe by your personal transformation. But there will come a time, most likely, I've seen this, where Krishna will shift. Like Krishna's going to ask you, do you want to go through this door? And you're going to say, yes, I do. And that's going to cause you to close another door behind you.
It happens without you even knowing that it's going to happen.
It happens. You get presented
something shifts.
a fork.
Yeah.
You want this opportunity. Do you?
It sounds like that fork is coming up in Aaron's life, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you want? Sometimes it's like, do you want things that will make material sense, but no spiritual sense, or do you want what makes sense spiritually? You got to be careful, because sometimes we get these, what are these, like Faustian bargains, offerings. Like, yeah, I'm going to take this, but I'll sacrifice my soul. Be careful with that, because sometimes these choices we make are not just for a moment. Sometimes they suck us into 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and we're in it for 10 years and just can't extricate ourselves. Be very, very careful at forks in the road. Talk to devotees that you trust. What do you think? I'm going through this. You're going to get, Aaron, you just keep going straight. You're going to get offered opportunities, and you're going to have to make a choice. And when you choose spirit, it allows more spirit in, more spiritual people in, more connected people in. And when you choose Maya, even as shiny as Maya can be, it's going to let more material affairs into your life. And then what's going to happen is you've surrounded yourself with that, and that becomes part of your life and part of your existence. So I'd say for now, just keep going through it. Get these spiritual epiphanies like you're getting right here, and wait till these forks come, and then go north, even though south sometimes appears more exciting or more sexy or more shiny on the outside. Shiny material life is nothing but a shiny piece of broken glass. You run towards it, you pick it up, it slices up your hands. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
What you think of that?
Yeah, Aaron's question is showing a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Is flippant the right thing? Like, she's a little bit like, come on, man, it's a pair of cowboy boots. What's your problem? Like, you're really taking this so seriously? Get real.
If she said it to the person, it would be flippant.
Yeah. But like, for instance, if in the previous question, if that woman would deal with her husband that way, that would be concerning, right? It's less concerning to me that you're doing it at work. In one sense, you've made a deal with your employer. It sounds like that you're meant to do the best you can to serve those customers well, and so you do that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like I kind of agree with Raghunath. That something in the message sounded to me like your life will change, and I saw that you wrote on the chat board, change is so scary, and I get that. But maybe your life is in for a change, maybe your internal life is going to, I think it is kind of like this. When our internal life shifts, Krishna can shift our external life so that we're ready to take another step, it can happen in surprising ways. So I'm not saying that's going to happen like next week or something like that, but it's something, the way that you express yourself kind of made me feel a little bit of that.
You can shift real fast, real quick. It could be it can be a 180-degree hairpin turn, with your life, and you got to be almost prepared for it.
Yeah, and I'm seeing Marilyn is writing something on the chat board, and I haven't even read the whole thing yet. But the fact that what you're gaining through reading Bhagavatam and hearing Bhakti Yoga philosophy, the fact that it gives you a certain detachment to say, come on, it's a pair of cowboy boots. Why in the world would you get so wrapped up in this? It's giving you that detachment, but it can also give you a kind of softer heart that allows you to relate with the customers in beautiful ways that you might not have been able to relate to them before also. So that's something to consider too, like there's a place for detachment, for the detachment that we gain from bhakti practice. And there's also a place for like the soft heartedness that we gain from bhakti practice. And I think, apply them as you feel inspired,
Marilyn writes like these, the bhakti practice has helped me not, she works in customer service, not get
Customer
caught up with
service.
the caller's overreactions. Remember that I'm there to help
Right.
solve whatever. And then Yaso wrote something really good, which I love this. He says, I struggle to remember Krishna every day. Good japa is the best medicine. So
Okay.
you carve out some time, whether it's 1 round or 10 rounds, or to just hold that mind on divine sound. And it is like, it's not just any sound and coming out of your mouth. It's not even the holy name coming out of your mouth. It's your concentration on the name. It's like in a combination lock. It's not just spinning it back and forth. It's spinning it back and forth to the precise number and the precise direction. So this is like with when chanting japa, we are just not rattling names out of our mouth. We are hearing and calling divinity into our life. And so if you can do it with that type of attention and intention, then that will carry through the whole day. Practice that.
Practice. And you know, another practice I was thinking.
Tell me more, Buddha.
Well, kind of, you know, expanding on what Marilyn wrote, you know, customer service. My wife, if you were to ask her, like, when do you see Kastuba just really get angry, really get disturbed?
Yeah.
Customer service.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like when I'm on the phone and I have to wait 15 minutes for someone to get on the phone, and then I get an incompetent person that doesn't know what they're talking about and faking it like they do. Like if you want to tell me, sir, I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm going to find someone that can get it for you, I'm perfectly satisfied with that answer. But if I'm hearing you and I'm cutting right through and I'm saying, I get it. This person, this person is faking it. This person is like, doesn't know, and they're not willing to tell me that they don't know, and they're just making my life much more difficult, and they're not, you know, I get upset.
I could
really
see you
do.
losing your cool with customer service.
Do. That's the worst. That's you know, my wife is always overhearing when I have one of those conversations, you know, and like sometimes she says like, hey, you did good that time. You know, like you're doing better, you know. So that customer service, it really is an opportunity for a bhakti yogi to practice their own tolerance, right? Their own, they can put a lot of their, it can be a yogic training ground for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it can be a yoga, you know, like, you know, dealing with customers and them getting upset and taking all the ego out, right? And just saying, sir, I understand that you're upset. Let's see what we can do for you. You know, like I think that could be like a you know, I was as a monk, you know, I sold Bhagavad Gitas every day for years, you know, and it really was a training ground for tolerance and humility and so all that stuff's kind of helpful for bhakti too. So if you actually approach your job in the way, it changes everything. Even though the job may be externally entirely mundane, it becomes entirely spiritual if you're in that consciousness. If you're saying, let me practice being a real yogi under any circumstance, including selling cowboy boots, you know, it transforms everything.
I like it. And let's see what how Krishna moves you after you pass that test. Krishna's going to give you another opportunity, most likely.
Make it a little harder. Get someone a little nastier in there against.
Or he might just give you this, oh, we got this other great job selling japa malas. You'd be surprised. Here's the deal, people. Life is short. Do something you love too. You know, you can also start to desire, how can I serve in a better way? You know, really refine your desire to how you want to serve. What's important, how you want to spend your time, how you want to raise your family.
I like Eileen shared something on the chat board saying a prayer.
Seems like Kostiba's reading the message board a lot today, Mara. What do you?
Well, but but you haven't even noticed that you haven't felt like I'm lost or gone, Raghunath, at all, right? I'm right here with you.
You got to check in. You got to check in. You got to check back.
I'm checking in with you. So she's saying that to say a prayer to Krishna before tough interactions, meetings, projects, and so on, that it's really powerful. No doubt, you know. And I think I shared on the show before that there was one day where I was out, and it was you know, it was a day around Christmas time, which meant we would sell lots of books on those days. And I was in a train station in what do they call it, 9th Street Station or something? What is it in Philadelphia?
Oh, can't remember. So
Some
30th
it's
Street
like the
Station.
Grand. What's that?
30th Street Station, maybe.
Maybe it's 30th Street Station. It's like their Grand Central Station, you know. So it's like this big open hall with like ceilings that are like, you know,
It's
super
beautiful,
high.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And you had a panic attack?
No, I had no panic attack. I
No.
knew that on this day I could do big service. Like lots of people would buy books, you know, because there's just like lots of people traveling, and but I said to myself, I know that the way Krishna works is he always puts some test early on. It comes early on to see where, and it's an opportunity to set your conscience for the day, right?
Yeah.
Like if you blow it, the whole day is like
Yeah.
potentially just like on a lower level.
You're almost like riding high above the gunas. Next, next, next,
Yeah.
next. Boom, boom, going out, going out.
So that day, even before going out, it's just like a test will come. When the test comes, I will pass the test. You know, like that's how I'm thinking, right? And so, and for some reason, we're selling Chaitanya Charitamritas, this very esoteric book, right? It wasn't even like Bhagavad Gita's.
I wonder if I was with you, man.
I don't think you were. I don't
Okay.
think you were. Maybe you were.
Because I have a
don't know.
great
think you would have
meltdown
remembered
story
this.
at 30th Street Station too. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I even know your story. Yeah. So the very first man I walked to, he was like, you know, one of these kind of walking fast businessman kind of power suit kind of guys.
Yeah.
And I just walked up and, sir, you know, and I held out that Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah.
And without even stopping, he took it out of my hands and flung that thing. Like he flung that book. It was, you know, because the ceiling is so high. The thing was like, it was like a Hail Mary pass at a football game or something like that.
God.
I was sitting there watching it fly through the sky, you know, and then, you know, and I'm watching it, you know, like hit the ground. In one sense, it's a little heartbreaking to see someone treat something so sacred in that way. But I knew that was a test. And I just looked at him and said,
that would have
okay,
broke
so
me. I would have been like, I'm
just-
going home.
But I was this is the point. I was prepared for it, right? I was
You were prepared for that?
I had prepared myself for that. So I wasn't expecting that, but I said, I know a test is coming. Be ready for it. The very first guy, right? And so, you know, he threw that book and I just said, okay, sir, well, you have a nice day anyway. And then I went and picked up the book. And when I picked up, I felt like, you don't know how surcharged I felt with Krishna's energy. I mean, I was just like, that's it, you know, like nothing's stopping me now, you know, like nothing can. This is, you know, Arjuna's out on that battlefield. By the end of the Bhagavad Gita, he said, I have heard you and I'm ready to carry out your order. You know, he's like, he's fixed. And when we get there, and again, it can even be while you're selling cowboy boots. You know, I'm fixed in remembrance of you today, Krishna, and nothing's going to stop me. You know, and I expect tests to come. I welcome those tests because those tests are an opportunity for me to demonstrate my devotion to you. So please, you know, I'm ready to serve. You can bring them on. That's a powerful state of consciousness, and you can bring that into any job. Transform it, flip it. Flip it from seem like this is a horrible, mundane circumstance. Flip it. Turn it into totally spiritual moment in your life.
All right. Next time I'll tell my 30th Street Station. Breakdown, meltdown.
Are you Ray Capo?
Oh, that one. Yes. That's part of it too. Wait a second.
Okay.
You're Ray Capo. It's like, oh God.
Yes.
The shattering of my ego. What was the interesting thing was,
You may as well tell the story because we won't get back until next year. So let's end the year on this
tell
story.
the story. Okay. So anyway, and I'm going to be hated by every Hare Krishna for this, but I never liked public book distribution because I always just felt like there's better ways to spread this holy name. Because that was Kastuba's service, and he did it very well. He would get out there and meet people, but I was always like, I don't want to go out onto the streets and get in people's face. I don't like when people do it to me. But this one month, it was a Christmas marathon. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And Krishna is such a clever little rascal Krishna's like, oh, really? You're going to do this? And I'm like, yes, Krishna, I'm going to do this. And I was living at Gitanagari on the farm. And so I was like, I'm going to get out of this, going to take off my overalls, going to hang out with all the book distributors, and I'm going to go out with them. And I fully surrender, Krishna. And he says, great. Tomorrow, we're all going to the Philadelphia airport. I was like, no, please. No. I'm going to be the quintessential Hare Krishna in an airport. What has my life become? It was like a dismantling of my false ego right there. But I did it. I did 2 days in that airport. And I realized it wasn't so hard because people, they come in, hi, you want to buy a book? No. They're just like going past you like 100 miles per hour. I was like, okay, I can deal with this. The third day, we went to 30th Street Station.
30th
Like,
Street
hey, you want to
Station.
buy a book?
Maybe we were together, Raghunath. We probably were.
Yeah, but this was Bhagavad Gita day. All I had was Bhagavad Gitas.
Oh, okay.
But that was that same year we did all
Softbound or hardbound?
Softbound Bhagavad Gitas.
Yeah, so I was probably doing hardbound, and they probably didn't have any hardbound Gitas, so I was doing.
Gave you Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Charitamrita. That is the PhD of book distributors. That's the anyway. So at 30th Street Station, no one's rushing around. What do they do at a train station? You just sit there. You wait for the numbers to change on the board. And so I was like, hi, would you like to buy a Bhagavad Gita? And the guy's like, no. And I'm like,
could you please walk away then?
I couldn't walk away. I was like frozen in time, melting. And so I was like, okay, I got to do this again. Another person. Hi, sir. I'm selling spiritual books. Have you ever heard of a book on Bhakti Yoga? Not interested. And I was just standing there face to face with this guy. I was just like, I can't do this. I'm gonna do it. One more time. And so there was a cool looking guy sitting down, with a skateboard. This is like this is 1989, I think. So it was a long time ago. Most people didn't have skateboards in the East Coast. Cool looking guy sitting down. And I walk up to him. I was like, hey, you want to buy a Bhagavad Gita? I was like, you look pretty cool. He looks at me and I look at him, and he was sort of famous. And he knew me from the music scene. And I knew him from the music scene, but we never actually met. We just knew each other from being in articles and stuff like that. And it was Chuck Treese, the singer of McRad, who was a pro skateboarder too. And so he's like, you're Ray Kappa, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. I go, you're Chuck Treese. I go, you're Chuck Treese, aren't you? And we go, yeah. And I was like, anyway, I'm selling these Bhagavad Gitas. He's like, so, at this time, I was so like wrecked. I can't do this. I can't do this. I went to a payphone because there was no cell phones back then. And I called Satyaraj Prabhu, who was a mentor to me. And I said, Satyaraj, I'm sitting here with a case
hold it.
of
Before you go further.
Yeah.
So how did that exchange end?
We were sort of cool, but I was just like, it was like anonymous people saying, get lost. Still hurts my ego. I have a very big ego. But then someone who knows you and it's just, or knows of you, it just like shatters me. That I tell you, that 1 month.
You felt inauthentic, probably.
Not inauthentic. I think I just had a huge ego, and it was getting dismantled by Krishna's mercy.
Okay.
That's what was happening. Krishna's like, are you serious about this, right? Okay, bring in Chuck Treese. It's like Krishna.
Super Soul and Chuck Treese is saying, head over there.
The 30th Street Station. Sit there and look. Oh my God. It says Krishna knows the exact recipe you need for your evolution. Right. And so anyway, so then I called Satyaraj Prabhu. I'm going overtime, but real quick. And Satyaraj says, Bhakta Ray, Krishna does not care how many Bhagavad Gitas you distribute. Krishna just wants to see if you want to serve him today. And I was like, oh, really? There's no like number game we're playing, or we just he wants to know if you want to serve him. I was like, well, I do want to serve him. He goes, then go out and distribute Bhagavad Gitas. I was like, yeah, I just want to serve Krishna today. That's all I'm going to worry about. That was my focus. That was my mantra. I just want to serve Krishna today. Boom. No quota, no Lakshmi points, nothing like that. I just want to serve today. And I had the best day, distributed 25 Bhagavad Gitas.
Look at you.
Boom.
Well, Raghunath, right there, not only were you distributing the Bhagavad Gita, but you were living the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it? Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna. abandoning all attachment to success or failure, such
Yeah.
equanimity. It's called yoga.
Yes, you really
248
feel
right
like
there.
when you're out there, because you don't want to. It's not like you're getting sense gratification out of this. It's tough to get your ego put on the line at every moment. I don't know how I don't know how materialistic salesmen do it, because it's tough
Right.
to get get lost. You're doing the most noble thing, and people think you're the lowest. You're like a loser.
For them, the motive is the money.
Yeah. For them, they'll just push through. Okay, you got to get it's a lead. I'm going to go with this lead, and I'll take a million no's to get one yes. For us, we just want to get. Do you want to serve? 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 And then magic people show up and be like, "I've been looking for this book. Thank you so much. I've been looking for this." It's a small demographic who want God.
Yeah.
The good old days, Kastuba. You and me.
You and me.
Thanks
Hey,
everybody
you
for
and me
joining
still
us.
into the future, and I just want to thank everyone for another wonderful year of Wisdom and Savior. It's such an honor to do this with you all.
We're not going to be. We're not going to be. This is the last day of the year.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody. Happy New Year's, guys. Thanks for another great year. Kastuba, thank you. Miss Mara, thank you.
Mara.
All the Zoomers out there, thank you for showing up. It's so amazing every time we press, let them in on the Zoom board, and so many people show up on a regular basis. I'm happy to be on this journey with everybody, and I'm learning from everybody, and I'm really looking forward to 2024. It's going to be a magical year. And we'll get more challenges, and we're going to have to really keep the main thing the main thing. Thanks to all the others out there that are actually out there that I don't see, but they're out there and they show up on a regular basis. Really appreciate all of you. Check in with us somehow. Write us an email, write a review on Apple Podcasts, or some message on YouTube. Share the YouTube videos. Makes all the difference in the world. Put your hands in the air. Start to sway around. Take me, Lord Chaitanya, take me!